All right, so we're back for the next installment of this episode. You can probably tell it's a very different time. It's about over a month after our last segment that we filmed. We were just over there where Alba Station was located. It was a very, very cold day. What day? It was like the 18th of March or something like that. Today is the 22nd of April. It's 17 degrees outside. I am melting. Should have worn shorts, but I didn't think that was maybe the right attire. But anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to continue following the railway grade to the east around the tip of the nose and basically see how far it takes us. We may need to come back and do another filming session. So here you can see the grade climbs back up to its original height. After the depression here where it's all been sort of excavated. This is kind of an interesting spot right here. You can see this sort of brown sandy soil, but it's been kind of pounded. People have been sort of driving on it. It's kind of neat in this area because what we have is we have remnants of coal. I don't know if you can see, there's kind of a dark tinge to the dirt in this area, so you can see sort of the contrast here. So you can see sort of a light brown color, and then it gets almost into a black color. And so what we have here is coal. This is all coal here, all bits of coal. Hopefully you can see that on the camera. Right, so all scattered through this area here. So again, not sure when it dates from, but again, this section was abandoned in 1925, so it could have ranged from any time during that particular period. So again, maybe you can see the contrast in that color here. You can see the darker color here and the lighter color brown of the native soil here a little bit further up ahead. So how you can see it gets into a lighter color. Okay, so now we're what I assume to be up on the original elevation of the railway grade. You can see here that there's been a, I feel like Star Wars here, there's been a disturbance. There's been a disturbance of the grade here. So I'm guessing what happened at some point, because this is a gravel pit and a quarry, and they didn't want people coming in here. So they sort of dug up this area to sort of keep people from coming in. Now I don't know if there was a any type of culvert or something like that that they would have removed, or if this was just a plain simple embankment that they just dug out and dumped all the material here to sort of block off access. I'm not entirely sure. So let's continue moving along. So we were here, so we did two visits to this area in March. So I think one was the 15th, and then we came back on the 18th or something like that, or whatever those dates were. This was all, we had to for sure reshoot this section here because it was all full of ice and snow. You can see what's happened since then, that the ice and the snow have gone away. It's dry, so it makes for a nice little ride. Obviously the nature of the grade has been changed here. You can see that it was kind of used as a road bed. You can see how wide it is. So here we're coming around, starting to curve around the tip of the nose here. And again, the grade just continues to climb, right? Because we had to go from, you know, Alba Station is, I think this Alba Station, the original one was around 720 feet above sea level. This one is about 750. If you look at that map of the area here, and where this grade crosses Oliver Road, which is the next major sort of east-west roadway up ahead, it's 840 feet. So there's a lot of climbing that has to go on. And again, this was the whole purpose of creating this nose feature. So just up here, we're going to be getting into a rock cut, and this is perfect. It's the afternoon. We never come out in the afternoons, but needed to get some cloud, some, you know, sort of a bright overcast day, and we're potentially, so today is warm. Today is 17 degrees. Tomorrow it's supposed to be 4, and there's a potential that we might get some flurries, depending on what the temperature does. So I want to see, is there a, almost looks like there was like a culvert there. All right, so this rock cut is just coming up here. Again, this was all ice and snow a month ago. Like the sides were fine, just right in the middle here. I guess from people riding their snowmobiles on here, it sort of packed everything down. So here's where the rock work starts. It's not a particularly long or particularly big rock cut. There's just a little bit here on the west side. So you can see this little bit of rock work, right? Like up here, maybe we're in the, I don't know, 6-7 foot range, 6 foot range. It's always hard to tell when you're up on the bike. Okay, so we're going to hold up here for a second. I'll check the battery on the camera, and then we're going to get into a little roadway section here. You can see the last sort of vestiges of the rock cut. So a little roadway section, and then we're going to hook back on the grade, and it's going to be a sort of a nice, more original, more undisturbed section. Okay, so we are going to head through this little road section here. So this is known as Wappner Road, this one here in the city of Thunder Bay. So we're going to be careful. I make sure I got Luna's safety vest on her so she's visible. So we're going to see what kind of disaster we got here. All right, so we got a little bit of muck here. And the dog's right through the water. I'm going to try to stick to the sides here. Ugh. I hate riding through the muck. So obviously a little bit of a low section here of the grade that is kind of settled over time. It's also April, so things haven't completely dried out yet. So here we're back in the clear. You can see some vestiges of snow left over. So we got a nice feature coming up here that we're going to take a look at. So what we have is the second one of these very, very unique and very interesting concrete culverts. So again, this is a branch of the Nebing River. So this water flows that way to the other side of the nose and passes under the grade over there. So the two concrete culverts that were over there, the one that's still there and the one that's been torn up, but these were the ones that we this is the same creek, the same waterway that passes under there and eventually flows into the Nebing River. So the Nebing is the Ojibwe word for summer. So it has a little bit of a connection. So we're going to drop down and have a look at that culvert. Okay, so we're down here on the south side. You can see the opening here of this very, very well preserved concrete culvert. This is one of the 3 that were originally in this location. As we've mentioned already, that there's only 2 that still remain. I'll zoom in. You can see the date stamp on here. So again, these culverts were constructed during a time which the railway belonged to the Canadian government railways, and it was part of a series of upgrades that were done at this time. The creek itself flows that way, and again crosses underneath the grade over there. So if we get a little bit closer here, you can see that again the culvert's in pretty good shape. There is a little bit of deterioration. You can kind of see right here some of the cracking of the culvert. But again, remember, this section of line was abandoned almost 100 years ago, and it hasn't received any maintenance in that time. So it again is in very good condition given its age. So what we're going to do is we're going to hop over and go take a look at things from the other side. Okay, so we've made our way down here on the north side of the grade. Here you can see this creek, which again is a branch of the Nebing River, eventually flowing into the Nebing River, flowing here to towards the south. On this side here, you can see the culvert has been overtaken a little bit by some of the vegetation. So you can see a lot of, and it's again north side, so lots of moss and things like that that are growing. Here you can see the date stamp. So I'll give you a zoomed in view of that. I don't know how easy or how difficult it is to see on the camera. So if we make our way over here, we cross the creek very carefully. We can try to get a little bit closer without. So again, there were 3 of these in this section, and then there was a larger culvert over the Nebing River to the south. We've kind of mentioned that one a little bit. That one is quite large in terms of its size. There are a few of these concrete structures like this that were built at this time. So these 3 culverts over here on the Moose's Nose, the larger one over the Nebing River. There is the Strawberry Creek bridge over Strawberry Creek in Kaministiquia, close to Alba Station, and then there's another one like this that is close to Alba Station. That one is the same size, but the size of it is massive because that's at the bottom of about a 60-foot embankment. So the length of the culvert is quite large to span that particular distance, and that culvert it has some damage on it, and you can actually see it. I don't know if they would have done this with this one. They could possibly have. I don't know if I can get any closer to the inside here. They actually put on that other one, and I'll put we're gonna be revisiting that one, but I will put a link in the description. And what they did was they actually used rails. You can actually see in the damaged portion, you can actually see rails that were used to kind of help sort of support the roof of the structure here when they were forming it. Again, here you can see a little bit of the deterioration, a little bit of cracking in the concrete. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to work our way back up onto the grade and continue making our way to the west.